What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Extreme Bowlers Podcast. I am your host, Jimmy Soto. I hope everyone is having a good day achieving their goals and getting their things handled. So, today's topic is, what do you do when no one's watching? What do you do when no one's around you and it's just you? Do you grind? Do you put in the effort to build that company? Do you put in the effort to lose that weight? Or do you slack off, eat whatever you want, junk food, you go on Netflix, or you take naps, and you do all these negative things that aren't moving the needle? What are you doing? Are you doing the things that you say you're doing? Because I hear a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I'm the hardest worker, man. Yeah, I put in the work. I come up with these plans and stuff like that. I know what I want to do. I know what I'm gonna do. And I keep grinding. I keep grinding for it. I keep studying. But when they're home and no one's watching, they're on their phone watching Netflix, TV, or sleeping, wasting time. But when they're at school, they study and they work hard. They seem to work hard because everyone's watching, and it's like hyping. He's getting everyone to hype him up, like they're homies. Hey, oh man, okay, you're putting in the work. I see you, bro. I see you be doing these things. But in reality, he's the laziest person in the room. And the person that seems to be the laziest is probably the hardest worker in the room. You gotta just see these things. You gotta ask yourself. You gotta really, really ask yourself, what am I doing when no one's around me? Am I really being lazy, or am I being the hardest worker? Because I can tell you guys right now, I can be like, yeah, I'm the hardest worker. I'm working on the Lyft brand, the Extreme Buzz podcast brand, the Extreme PNL company. But in reality, I could just be fucking sleeping, or just not doing anything that's gonna help these companies. And that's just a saying. That's just metaphorically. I don't actually be lazy and just watch TV and Netflix. But you never know, and I guarantee you guys, I'm not doing the lazy stuff. I'm actually trying to build these companies, and me and Miles we're trying to build these companies. But I'm just saying, there's people out there that say they do things, but they truly don't. They're just the lazy people. So I don't want you guys to be that lazy person. I don't want you guys to be the person that says, yeah, I'm the hardest worker, but when no one's watching and no one's there to push them or say, oh, what happened to the hard work? I don't want you to be in that situation where you might think you're the hardest worker, but in the next 5 years, you're not the hardest worker. You're actually the laziest person, and the person that stays quiet and actually does things when no one's watching, and actually is grinding when no one's even aware of them grinding, is actually at the top. And you just gotta build the empire. The empire is, you just gotta build it and you build it when no one's watching. You guys haven't seen me and Miles build these companies, but you heard about it. We talked about it. Everybody that goes to school with us, they heard about it. We could have been talk. We could have been like, yeah, we're dropping this Lyft brand. Yeah, we're dropping the podcast. Oh, we're doing this pool and landscape company. We could have just said all that, but it could have never happened. But it did happen. We built the empire. We're trying to still build the empire. We haven't finished, and the job's not going to be done until we die. Because job's never finished. There's always things that are going to make you better, and there's always things that are going to make your companies and your life better. You're never satisfied. As my teacher said, and I believe him 100%, you're never satisfied. There's always something that's going to want you to be better, and you got to build it. And I'm telling you guys right now, if you guys are slacking off when no one's watching, you guys aren't going to succeed. Because success comes when no one's watching and you're in that room grinding with no motivation and no one's cheering you up. You got to actually mentally push yourself to study, to read, to go to the gym. All that stuff comes mentally. Success doesn't come when people are around you pushing you, saying, let's go, let's go. Because those people, in 30 years maybe, they're not going to be in your life. Success comes when you, yourself, when no one's watching, you're succeeding. You're trying to succeed. That's where success actually comes from. Is when you're putting in the hours, you're sweating, you're having the tears because you just think you can't do it because you failed so many times. But that's actually going to make you better, and that's actually going to make you succeed. Is when you're building yourself. You're building the toughness yourself. Suffer right now and thank yourself later in life for suffering and going through the pain so you can get to where you are right now. $1 million in the bank, $10 million in the bank. And you're going to come back to the moments where you were crying, you were in pain because all you did was fail. And when failure, of course, there's always lessons. And those lessons are going to build you. And you can't rely on other people to give you the motivation. You can't rely on people to always be there for you because they're not. The people that you think are the closest to you, there's a small percent chance that they could be, but there's a big percent that they're not going to be in your life forever. There's a small portion that are, depending on how your relationship is. And I'm telling you guys that if you guys are putting in the work and you guys are actually saying, yeah, I go and study, I go and do all these things at home, and you just work hard when no one's there, you're in a whole different level. You're a different animal. You're just above a lot of people. And I want you guys to succeed. That's why me and Miles built this podcast and the Lift brand. We want you guys to succeed. There's other things that we're going to come up with and other companies that are going to help you, one step further to building your wealth. But for right now, we're doing this podcast because we want to help you. We want to see you succeed truly down in our hearts. We want to help people. And I came up with this podcast because I think that people need to realize if they're actually working hard or if they just say they're working hard but they're actually not. I want them to figure out what are they doing when no one's watching. And I want them to succeed. I want them to actually work hard and not just say they are. Guys, succeeding is a pain. And if you just trust me in this one, do the work when no one's watching. Do the impossible when no one's watching. Because it's the greatest feeling when no one was there to help you. Because you didn't let anybody to be there, because you actually wanted to feel the pain and actually work by yourself, because all you have in life is yourself and friends, which is really good to have. As I talked in my other podcast and Miles talked in this other podcast, you gotta choose who your friends are. And some friends, it's worth keeping, and some friends are not. But I'm not saying that you don't need friends to succeed. It's just, you just need to build that how do I say this? You need to build that confidence. You need to build that strength in your mentality that you can do it by yourself. If worse comes to worse, you can do it by yourself. And I just want you guys to really think about this podcast topic. I want you guys to actually get down and deep. Track down a week of what you actually do. Don't read what you did yesterday and repeat it. No. Don't read what you did yesterday. Just track what you did Monday, and then Tuesday is another day. You just track what you do Tuesday. If you have to do it in flashcards, so you have to see the other day what you did, you just put them all together and see what you truly do. If it says you're watching Netflix for 5 hours, 4 hours, or you're sleeping more than you need to, or you're doing unproductive stuff, when you can be doing successful things and productive stuff and moving actions, it's a problem. And you guys need to fix that. Because trust me, success comes when you're alone in that room and you're grinding, coming up with ideas, coming up with $1 million businesses. It's when you're in that room and there's no one there to motivate you, and you're just there, and it's all mentality. Just think about it. Just ask yourself, am I a productive person, or am I not? Am I just not as productive as I should be? I should be more productive. And then fix it. Plan out what you're going to do to fix it so you can succeed. And so that I'll leave you with that podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. If you did, make sure to share with your friends and family. Also share it on your social media and tag us at Extreme Brothers Podcast. Thank you for listening. As always, stay working, lift, never settle. This is your year. Remember that, guys. Remember that. This is your year. New year, new me. 2022. Let's start it. It's not too late to start. It's never too late to start. You always got to start somewhere. And start today. Start when you feel like you need to start, which is today. Remember that. Anyways, catch you in the next one, guys. I hope you guys have a beautiful day or night.